Have the First Alert weather team helping you time things out as we expect this storm to leave a pretty lasting impact in our area. We have meteorologist Cutter Martin in the WJZ First Alert Weather Lab, and he is going to be bringing us conditions from the roads. But first, we want to start with meteorologist Rochelle J. and Steve Sosna. They're here in the studio. And Steve, the team has been talking about this and what we can expect, and it's playing out pretty much as scheduled.
Yeah, we've been talking about this storm since last weekend, and it's finally here. Your perspective, if you're a kid, you're probably in euphoria. If you're an adult, probably depends what you're doing today. But if you have the option, it being a Sunday, just stay on home because it is coming down really hard out there. And really the day is kind of like a layer cake. Right now we're getting the snow aspect out there, and then we're eventually going to go over to sleet and likely some freezing rain here this afternoon, this evening. Tomorrow, an alert day for the refreeze and cold. I expect a lot of school closures here tomorrow, and then dangerous cold for the long haul. So there's a lot of layers, and we have a lot of hours with you. So we're going to be talking about all this here over the course of the morning. All right, at 6:01, heavy snow is falling across the area. We've seen the intensity ramp up significantly. Started right around 1 in the morning in Baltimore, a little earlier to the south and west, and when I put it in motion, you don't see an end to it, right? So we are in this here for the next several hours. You can see the snow pipeline from the south and west. You also see different colors. That's a sign of some mixing that will start to be introduced here as early as mid-morning to around lunchtime. Visibility, we use that as a tool. If it's under a half mile, moderate to heavy snow all across the area. So basically, there's not one spot that's getting hit harder than the other. We're all getting it right now. All right, wind chills, 13 in Cockeysville, 13 in Owings Mills. This is actually the type of snow that you probably want to remove now in layers because it's going to change in consistency. It's a fine powder. It's easy to get rid of now. It's going to start to get wetter, and then eventually we're going to get some ice on it. So that's why I encourage you to do this storm in steps. Luckily, the wind isn't too strong, and area wind chills continue to be quite cold. So breaking this storm down is our First Alert meteorologist, Rochelle J. Rochelle, it's going to be kind of a messy day. It starts off as a fun snowstorm, and then it's not fun afterward.
Yeah, no, once we get that ice and that sleet to mix in, it's not really going to be that pleasant of a day. So let's take you through the next few hours here. So we're going to have those temperatures that are pretty steady through the morning hours in the teens. And as you see, we get later into the morning. That's when we start to introduce more of that wintry mix. And even going into noontime, you're seeing freezing rain, but there will also be some areas that see sleet and some sleet snow mix, maybe some snow and freezing rain mix. It all depends on your area and the temperature profile of the atmosphere from the ground to the top of, the bottom of the cloud, I should say. Feels like temperatures through the day today at best getting up to about 20 degrees. So we've got a breeze out there. We'll have a slight gustiness, but it's not going to be the strongest winds that we've experienced in the month of January during a snowstorm. So we can handle the winds, but it is going to be cold out there. We're talking wind gusts up to about 30 miles an hour for today. So again, temperatures are staying low once again, very similar high temperatures to what we had yesterday. And we'll have that gustiness on top of it, and of course that snow changing over to a wintry mix. We have not changed the snow accumulation map. We're still thinking centered on I-95, 7 to 11 inches, and again we're going to have that changeover, and we're including sleet with the snow in this accumulation map. So everyone's seeing snow right now. As you head farther to the south of 95, that's where we're thinking 5 to 8 inches, again including that sleet and a little bit of freezing rain, and of course higher totals north and west of Baltimore. That's where we have the best chance of seeing over a foot of snow. So far we're seeing reports up to about 3 to 4 inches, but that snow is coming down pretty heavy. Steve will have another look at the radar in just a few minutes.
All right, welcome back. 6:14, a snowy Sunday morning, and look at the wind. That is the kind of wind that just chews through you. So it's not just throw on a winter jacket, it's throw on several layers, a hat, gloves if you're going to be out there for the long haul. And that applies really to anywhere this morning. We'll be showing you our neighborhood cameras here. Everybody getting this storm in some shape or form. So this morning, what we're looking at, this is when you're going to get your heaviest snow, probably now through about mid-morning. And then we're going to start to see a mix with sleet from south to north. It'll probably start to be a snow-sleet mix and then eventually sleet here by midday. This afternoon, it's all about where you live. Mixing in ice, I think, for most of the area. If you live in that northwest fringe, it looks like northern Carroll County out toward Frederick County, you're mainly snow. And then I'm concerned about freezing rain and freezing drizzle that will continue into the evening hours. Remember, with freezing drizzle, it doesn't take a lot to keep things icy. So this is going to be kind of a marathon of a day. Heavy snow along the Beltway communities. So you can go from Towson, work your way around to Pikesville, all the way down to Linthicum and Glen Burnie, over to Essex. In the city itself, heavier snow, and then down Route 2 to Annapolis and BW Parkway. And then our friends up in Carroll County getting a steady snow. A little lighter up in Cecil County, but you have plenty of time to go before that heavier snow comes your way. Heavy snow in Virginia, although I'm starting to see some reports of some sleet mixing in down there. Our radar is not showing it here, but that's an indication of some of the warmer air. We're just starting to get some snowfall reports on in here. We're going to be on for a couple of hours, so we're going to be showing you new information each and every hit here. So we'll get into that shortly, but just to let you know, we are starting to get snow reports and we'll have them for you. Well, we're in good company. The winter storm warnings from Maine to New Mexico. So if you're traveling here today, we're emphasizing just not close to home here, but everywhere along the eastern seaboard. That is where the back edge of the storm is right now. So we have thousands of miles to go. As Charlie mentioned, temperature is super important. When the road temperature is below 20, the pavement temperature, which it is tougher to treat. So even your treated surfaces are going to be snow covered. And look what a little bit of wind does. We saw that Annapolis camera. 5 is what it feels like. 0 at BWI. 20 below 0 in accident. That's why we're encouraging the winter weather survival kit in your car. Hopefully you don't break down, but you never know. You don't want to take that risk. Blankets, food, and the whatnot. So your planner for today looks like this. We have snow and eventually wintry mix by midday. And then one of the key questions we need to answer is how much freezing rain we get. And we'll be trying to iron that out through the morning. In addition to freezing rain, we have other stuff. It's everything in the kitchen sink falling from the sky today. Here's First Alert meteorologist Rochelle J. with your neighborhood snowfall forecast.
Yeah, so we're going to keep an eye on those snow reports as they're coming in this morning. We've already gotten a number of reports. I'll show you that in just a second. But again, here's our forecast. We have not really changed this throughout the weekend. We're looking at areas in the pink, 10 to 14, maybe even more than 14 inches of snow and some sleet. So we are including those ice pellets in this forecast. 7 to 11. I-95 kind of splitting that area in half. And then as we head farther south, lower totals. These areas will see the changeover to sleet and freezing rain first in southern Maryland toward the lower eastern shore. So heading to the north and west, that's how those snow totals are going to be increasing for today. So actual snowfall so far this morning. We have had a few reports coming in out of Montgomery and Frederick County, but also Queen Anne's County as well, of over 3 inches of snow so far this morning. Again, it's only about 6:15 in the morning, so I'll be editing this map as we go through the next few hours and even once we see that change over to some sleet. Let's head into your neighborhood forecast for the eastern shore for today. We're talking high temperatures, upper 20s to upper 30s, so we will see some of these areas potentially dealing with some of that freezing rain and again some of that sleet with these warmer temperatures. We'll have to watch out for that. Tonight, we'll have some of that ice early across the area, temperatures dropping down into the 20s. Some of those winds will back off, but we get those winds back in the forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures plunging on Monday. We're talking highs sub-freezing once again for many locations and those winds. So feels like temperatures through the day tomorrow only hovering in the teens and that wind really not helping whatsoever. Here's a check on the 7-day forecast. So we've got the alert day for today. I think it's pretty obvious why. We've got this winter storm. Tomorrow, it's cold, it's windy. Look at those temperatures overnight for this week. We've got multiple days that will drop down within the Baltimore Beltway to the single digits before any wind is factored in. So we've got some really cold stretch out ahead of us. So what is falling, what sticks is going to stay with us for at least, it looks like, a week. Temperatures remaining below freezing, hovering right around that 20-degree mark. Possible alert days for Thursday and Friday. But we've got to get through today first before we can look ahead to the later part of the week. Back to you.